Welcome to Inside Abode. How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Dave Jones. I'm your host. And today we actually have a very special guest who is finally, we're going to get his voice in real time. We're going to just hear the knowledge that and the gems that he has to bring to the table. And we are very excited to have him. But before I introduce our guest, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to the podcast. It is free. It costs you no money. And for the value that you're getting on these podcasts, I would say it's a very, very good ROI. Like I was just trying to get onto the News Tribune and I came up against some pop-up and some ads and ad blockers, and I couldn't even get in to see the results of the elections. So here, we're going to talk a little bit about that, or at least just let you know what happened, and it don't cost you anything. So anyway, tap in. And we got really cool people and cool guests on the show, so that's why. So let me talk. Speaking of my guests, I'm going to get into my guest today. My guest has 20 years of experience in real estate. Again, 20 years of experience in real estate and has seen many different markets and in both the residential and commercial spaces. So he's seen a lot. And then he just has a really big knowledge of the market. He has an MBA from UW and a master's in business from UW. And the best part, he's from Brooklyn. Yes, I said Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn, stand up. Ethan Wing of Ethan Wing of Wing Collaborative. How y'all doing, man? How you doing?
It's a good day. It's a good day to be alive. It's sunny. I don't know.
Yeah.
Life is good, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I didn't check the weather this week, so I was very, very surprised at the weather. Like, not a cloud in the sky. So I'm very, very pleased in November.
Yeah, it's great. Get it while you can.
This might be a controversial topic, but how are you Scrooge? Are you Scrooge or are you a holiday person? Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm watching Christmas movies. Like, I'm a big Christmas movie fan. So, like, I watch Lifetime over Hallmark, but I'll watch Hallmark Christmas movies. But that's what's on right now. Basketball and Christmas movies is all you getting in the Jones household right now. So, how do you? I'm already there. It ain't even the end of November yet.
Thanksgiving is hands down my favorite holiday, right? Like Christmas to me, unfortunately, has been co-opted by business and corporations and obligations. So Thanksgiving is my go-to holiday. It's just food and people you want to spend time with. And, I've been, honestly, for about 20 years now, I've been sitting down with the same group of friends, different people every year to on the outskirts, but the same core group of friends for a great meal. By the time Christmas rolls around, I'm out of the country. I'm usually in a foreign country for Christmas, and that's because I don't want to have to decorate.
Oh, there you go. All right, man. That's actually good. I think that's a good way to go about it. We have a lot to discuss in a very short amount of time. So thank you first and foremost for taking the time. The elusive Mr. Wing is here, so I want to make sure that we get as much as we can before you leave the country on us and go enjoy yourself.
I don't need to be elusive going forward.
No, I won't. We're going to have you on a podcast again because I know people are going to enjoy this. Like, let's talk about the current real estate market. I'm going to have you speak to the agents first because you have such an experience. The agents have just went through in this market, from a crazy, well, first not even knowing if they're going to be working or not in 2020 to, oh, we're working, oh, the rates are 2%, oh, things are crazy, oh, there's $6 trillion injected into our economy, oh my goodness, this is crazy, we're doing record highs, 3% rates all the way to 8% rates. So they've been navigating a market going the opposite direction with raising rates for a year and a half, and that's difficult. I think agents need to give themselves grace a little bit. What advice do you have for real estate agents who have just been navigating this market of a year and a half of rate increases? Like, solid, like it's just been increasing.
Yeah, I know it's been a lot of fun, hasn't it?
Oh man, it's tough.
I know it's brutal. Well, and you know how it is because you've been in this business long enough to know yourself that every time you tell people that you're in real estate, everyone says, "Oh, so what's going on with the market?" Right?
Yeah.
So you have your standard story, which of course evolves as you collect data and time passes. The key thing is this is just where we are now. Don't
Yeah.
panic. It's just a different market. You know, a year and a half ago we had an extreme sellers market that had its own set of problems and challenges and difficulties. And I mean, honestly, I'm not saying I like this market better, but I'm not saying I like it worse either. You know, that market was pretty terrible. 10 offers on every single house, and, you know, 9 people, it bids up $100,000 above list. And that was hard.
Yeah.
And this is just a different kind of hard. You know, we've gone from an extreme seller's market to a buyer's market where there aren't any buyers, or there aren't many buyers. There's some out there. You know, the people at the people in the first time home buyer space, they're scared because they don't think they can afford anything. On the flip side of that equation, though, I think, okay, it might be hard to afford anything, but like you and I were talking about, you're supposed to reach for this. This is supposed to be difficult. You're supposed to prioritize it above going out to dinner. You know, you got to cancel, you know, 3 of your 4 streaming services. Really, is that that big of a deal? There are ways to make this work. You know, there are interest rate buy downs. We all know we can look into the future. Oh, sorry, I'm wandering, aren't I?
I love
We're
it.
supposed
I
to be
love it.
talking to
Keep
agents.
No, we going. You're cooking, bro. I'm not gonna stop you from cooking. You're cooking right now.
Okay, so I should continue to cook. See, like Dave and I, really, we hate this. We don't like talking to each other. It works out.
No, I think it's a good message though for people. It's a good message. I think it's a moment in time. That's what I always say when things
It
get
is.
hard or you have a difficult conversation coming up and it's just eating you up inside, and or you know things are hard and you're looking down the runway and you don't have funds or whatever. I've been there. We've all been there. It's a moment in time though, and the question is, what am I going to do? What do I have
That's
in
right.
my control? And my attitude first and foremost. What's my attitude? How am I showing up in the world? Even like, let's say, for example, in the social justice stuff, like people look for my voice, I guess, now, and in 2020 and that stuff like that took a toll on me. I don't want to be talking about that stuff all the time, even though it's my reality. But I want to win and enjoy my life just like everybody else, and not have to worry about stuff. And so. When you add that layer on, it took a toll for sure. And so that's no different than now. Like, so if you're an agent or you're struggling, or even buyers, I talked to someone in the sauna the other day whose son is looking for a home and it's been looking for 2 years, and it keeps getting beat out with 8% rates. And I'm like, oh, you're probably around median price. Yeah, it's about 400 to 500 price range. Like, yeah, it's challenging. So you're right in terms of it's challenging for agents, it's challenging for buyers, it's challenging for sellers alike, because of this rate and people having to make really, they have to give something up. Something has to give to get into that house or to qualify for that rate or whatever.
I mean, I think you're better off getting into a house today. Like, I'm going to pause there, back up, and say, look, I think there's always opportunity, right? Opportunity is always somewhere in the market. It just changes what it looks like. Right now, what opportunity looks like is a market in which there aren't a ton of opportunity. There's not a ton of inventory out there. There's absolutely some, and what there isn't is a lot of competition, which means that if you found yourself a good agent, right, someone that can help you filter through what's out there in tandem with what you can accept and what you cannot accept, you know, what your deal breakers are, then you should be able to find something that you can get into today. And again, that right agent is going to help you find a way to make it affordable. I'm not saying it's not going to be painful, may still be painful,
Yeah.
but a good agent is going to help you find a way to buy a house today that you can afford in the short term while we wait for rates to come down. You know, rates
Right.
in the last week, rates have come down 3/4 of a point. We were
Which is crazy.
which is it's the narrowing of the gap between the 10-year bond and the payoff.
Yeah.
But that should continue, and the Fed will eventually start raising rates. You notice that job hires are starting to decline. Like the last job numbers came in lower than expected, and they revised the previous 2 weeks down as well. So the economy is slowing.
Yeah.
That means if inflation will continue, should continue to follow. Core inflation dropped 1/10 of a point last time numbers came out, and
Yeah.
right, and so eventually the Fed is going to be able to start lowering rates. You know, all the prognosticators I listen to and pay attention to talk about rates coming down by Q3, Q4 next year. So, Mr. Home Buyer who's out there today, can you find a way to, struggle and make it a year, of uncomfortable payments while you wait for rates to come down?
Right.
If it's a priority, I think the answer is yes. Because
I
honestly,
think,
once the competition comes back, and because there's a lot of demand, I apologize for jumping in. There's a lot of demand on the
it's good.
sidelines. A lot of demand on the sidelines,
Yes.
and once the rates come down, guess what everyone's going to do? They're all going to jump back in. Is that going to be a better situation? I don't think so. Anyway.
That was my concern when we raised rates and we went into this year. And granted, I don't win as a owner of a real estate brokerage, but my concern was the inventory didn't raise as much as I wanted it to. I was hoping for 4 months of inventory, something looking like that, 3 months of inventory even I'd take. And we just did not get there in Pierce County. And when I saw that, I just said, I don't like the way this looks moving forward for affordability issues. And so, we just have to, you're right about all of that. And what's funny? You said Q3, Q4. I wonder what's happening in Q3, Q4 of 2024. Oh, that's right, a presidential election. What great timing. Anyway, that's my cynical side. So thank you for that input, though. That's all good stuff. I think you got some stuff in there for buyers, too. So, for sellers, we've noticed that it's taken a little bit longer for homes to sell, but I think that seller expectations based on the last 2 years have kind of shifted, and it's taking some time for sellers to get back to more of a normal market, which is 3 to 4 weeks is normal to be on the market, a month, maybe 2,
maybe even longer.
And that's normal,
Yeah.
And so what do you have to say to sellers? Are you seeing that?
I had a conversation with a seller of mine last week. We were talking about a price reduction, and his monthly burn rate, he owns the house outright. His monthly burn rate was south of $400 a month. Okay, well, how motivated are you? It's almost Thanksgiving. The market's going to go quiet between Thanksgiving and mid-January-ish. How motivated are you to do a big price reduction or versus waiting until mid-January to see what happens when the market wakes up? As it happens, we got an offer, we got it under contract 2 days later, but I'm having these conversations. People sellers specifically don't seem too worked up about it. They're okay taking more time. Would they rather be able to sell in the blink of an eye? Sure, of course, but they're not motivated to really quickly drop prices unless there's some external reason driving them to do that.
Right.
In fact, what was the stat I saw? Prices I saw this stat this morning. Prices year over year have gone up 5% nationwide. So it's not like values are going down. They're still climbing even in this market.
And that's why I get scared for affordability. It's obviously I come from a place where it's I benefit from that, and that's just being transparent. But what I want to benefit from is from a city and a county where people are able to live here and enjoy life at all price points, and enjoy areas at all price points.
From a diverse city where people could, right, and the reason I'm throwing that word in there is because there are all different kinds of diversity, and what we're talking about here is economic diversity, right? If we only have a city where all the houses are 800,000 or whatever plus, then we're missing a big chunk of that. And I think what makes Tacoma, and full disclosure, I'm a huge booster of this city. I think what makes Tacoma as great as it is, and in my opinion, dramatically better than Seattle. No apologies to Seattle. is that
Shots fired.
is that Tacoma has got really solid blue collar roots, right? It keeps us grounded and anchored. And if we price the working class out of the city, we lose that. And then, I got to find some place to move. And Tacoma's,
That's not where
yeah, Tacoma's great and is holding on to that. And I'd like to see that continue.
Yeah. So my next question for you is, when do you plan on running for mayor of Tacoma, or city council, or something of that?
You're a far better candidate than I would ever be. I don't intend to. No, thank you, politics. But I'll get out there. I'll get out there and wave signs for you, Dave.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I gotta sign with it.
Now, Ann's
I'm
going to
not
call me up now. Ann's going to call me up and she's going to say, "Stop that! Don't you dare!"
well, we are going to be empty nesters here soon, so I don't know. I told people, like, they're asking me a little too early. Wait, ask me in about 10 years, then I'll probably have some time on my hands and maybe do some things.
You'll have more gray. It'll make you look more distinguished. You'll be more easily electable.
Shoot, last night my son said, we were talking about, because we all have long hair right now, so it's kind of fascinating sitting at the dinner table. And Will's hair is really long. He's always had long hair. Ann's hair is as long as it's ever been since we've been married, and Tay's hair is long and my hair is long. So we're just going through this long phase. And so my son was like, Tay was like, "Man, don't cut your hair because, like, it ain't growing back." And I was like, see, they always throw shots at me, man. Like, if y'all think that I'm just sitting at the table and everyone, I get nothing.
Don't you realize that's your job? That's your job.
Yeah.
Your job is to take shots. And for the record, my hair is long now too.
Yeah, that is long for
I know.
No, I'm just, so people can't see on the audio, but we're laughing. But anyway, so thank you. Like, we're gonna have to wrap this up, but before we get out of here, are you ready for the next segment? We did not talk about this segment, and this segment is called Hot Take. Are you ready for Hot Take?
Oh, okay, bring it. Let's go.
And these are either or questions, and you just have to choose one. All right, Here we go.
All right.
Pancakes, waffles.
Waffles.
Ooh, okay. Waffles.
That was easy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Mountains or beaches for a vacation?
Probably beaches, even though I'm pale and pasty. You should have deserts and forests in there as an option. Just saying.
Yeah, I probably should. Next one I will. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Books or movies?
Books.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Man, these are easy. You're a very decisive person. I see why you're good at commercial real estate.
I've thought of these, or at least some of them.
You thought of them.
I could
These were
rank
actually
my seasons.
these were softballs. Actually, I will admit these were softball general ones. I typically get a little more nuanced with them based on the person that's sitting in front of me. But
next time,
yeah, for the sake of time, yeah, next time, because this was actually short. We got through this. This is more than a half hour. It seemed to be like about 10 minutes, and actually we were talking for probably 20 minutes even before this. So always enjoy talking to you, man, and I appreciate you. And yeah, and also shout out the Win Collab. Shout out to the Win Collaborative, Artie and Kendra also. This is your time. Give us your spiel. Shout out to your people. Like, I'm gonna give you the stage for a minute. Talk to the people. How do they get in touch with you? All of those things.
So we're three agents. Myself, Artie, and Kendra. I've been in the business a total of 27 years, going strong. We've all had, even in this market, we've all had a better year this year than last year. So that's something positive to say. We are reachable. We're reachable, honestly, any way you want. Phone, email, text. Let me give you some numbers. You can reach me at 253-255-6544. You can reach Artie at 360-359-9790. 0998. And you can reach Kendra at 253-225-8055. We really cover the waterfront. We've got residential, and that's single-family homes, townhomes, condos. We also do commercial, multifamilies and investments, and raw land. So if you've got a need, chances are we can help you. And honestly, if you just need help and you're not looking to buy or sell, we're happy to answer a bunch of questions. I figure 70 to 80% of the work we do winds up being pro bono anyway, and we are happy to do it. So give a holler if we can help.
Man, love it, love it. And Artie was on the show. We were talking about senior or something along those lines. And
Yep.
the cool part is my aunt had a situation, and I just got her in touch with Artie and Kendra, and they I don't know what happened to that, but yeah, it's a
got
great.
solved.
You guys have an all-encompassing service model, and I really like that and appreciate that. So thank you.
Yeah, happy to do it.
All right. Well, that's not the last time Ethan will be on. I appreciate you jumping on. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all listening. Again, go hit the subscribe button if you like that. There's going to be more next week. We're back in season 9. And based on this conversation, you know what to expect now for season 9. It's going to be lit. So anyway, with that, we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Take care.